Don't forget to subscribe, guys. So Canelo Alvarez breaks Rocky Fielding down with a series of body shots. I mean, as soon as the fight starts, Canelo Alvarez just immediately becomes the aggressor, and he immediately starts landing body shots. Now, Rocky Fielding, being so much taller than Saul Canelo Alvarez, didn't use his height and reach to his advantage. He actually elected to fight or try to fight toe-to-toe with Canelo Alvarez, which is something you shouldn't do. You know, I always say that when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, he's a type of fighter that he wants his opponents to come near him, because he's very dangerous when you're in the pocket with him, right? He wants you to come near him. That's why, you know, he looked really good against guys like, you know, Gennady Golovkin, James Kirkland, and so on. But he tends to look bad when a guy's on the back foot against him, and when a guy is making him chase him, because he's not the best at cutting off the ring. I thought that Rocky Fielding should have used his height and reach, at least try to play the boxer. But he tried to be brave and fight Canelo Alvarez toe-to-toe, and that's not a good way to fight Canelo Alvarez, especially if you're not as talented as he is when it comes to fighting in the pocket right there. All right. And that's what happened. Rocky Fielding just got taken apart with body punches. It was just destroying Rocky Fielding's body. I think he knocked him down in the very first round with a body shot. And you thought to yourself, it's over. And then he just proceeded to knock. He kept throwing body shots. He knew that's all he had to do to defeat Rocky Fielding. Rocky Fielding did try. He did show some heart. But I just think the tactics he used was not good. You know, he would go against the ropes and just stay there and cover up. You can't do that against Canelo Alvarez. If you're in the ropes against Canelo Alvarez, he's just gonna tee off on you and take you apart. You gotta move against him. You have to move against him. Unless you're good enough to compete against him in the inside, the way Gennady Golovkin was, then yeah. But if you're not on the level of Canelo Alvarez, don't be standing in the pocket and try to tee off against him. I'm telling you right now, if Rocky Fielding would have used his height and reach, he most definitely would have at least gone more rounds. I'm not going to say he would have won rounds against Canelo Alvarez, but at least he would have prolonged the fight. Maybe he would have got stopped in round 6 to 8. But again, he tried to show heart. He got dropped, I think, twice in the first and second rounds. And then in the third round, Canelo Alvarez throws a really good right hand and drops him. And then he comes back with another body shot, and that was it. You know, that was all she wrote. Canelo Alvarez is now a new champion. This was a fight that Canelo Alvarez was, he fought for Rocky Fielding's title. I already forgot what title he currently possesses, but he is now currently a champion at 168. The question is, will Canelo Alvarez stay in this weight class? Will he stay at 168, or will he go back down to 160? I already told you guys, I always knew that Canelo Alvarez was going to beat Rocky Fielding. I knew this was kind of a foregone conclusion, just because Rocky Fielding, you know, he's never really fought anyone. The best guy he fought prior to Canelo Alvarez was Callum Smith, and he got destroyed against Callum Smith. And once again, he gets destroyed. Now, the thing with Canelo Alvarez is, I don't know how competitive he's going to, you know, he's a very talented fighter, but he's very short for the division. Look, the guy's like 5'6", 5'7". You know, you look at Rocky Fielding looked like a giant compared to him. So, I'm curious to see what is Canelo Alvarez going to do. Is he going to go back down to middleweight and fight Gennady Golovkin, or maybe Daniel Jacobs, or maybe Billy Joe Sanders? All these guys want to crack at him, right? Or would he stay at 168? Because that's what I'm curious about. I think it's going to be harder for him to be fighting at 168 just because the guys are much bigger than him. But that's what I'm curious about. Canelo Alvarez looked just way more stronger than, even though he was shorter, he just looked physically like he was the stronger guy in there. But I could tell from this is Canelo Alvarez's power is still with him at 168. You know, a lot of times when fighters move up in weight, their power tends to decrease because the guys at the higher weight classes, they're stronger, they're bigger, and they could take the punching power from big punchers who were in lower weight classes. But Canelo Alvarez, he knocked out Rocky Fielding So who's a much bigger guy. So he could still, his power is still there. Again, is this the best win for Canelo Alvarez? Absolutely not. Rocky Fielding is not necessarily a class fighter. He's not like a elite fighter. Maybe he's if we're ranking guys from A to D, Canelo's A and Rocky Fielding is like D. That's the type of level he is. And I always tell you guys, in boxing, it's all about levels. It's all about levels. And Canelo Alvarez was just clearly the better fighter. I felt that Rocky Fielding, like I said, did poor tactics. He should have not stood in front of Canelo Alvarez. He should have not tried to be brave like that. He should have tried to use his height and reach against Canelo Alvarez. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. Subscribe for the latest in boxing, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.